Hey guys, today's guest is an authority on Japanese culture, more so than an actual Japanese person, I think. He's a true Renaissance man. He's a game critic, hentai connoisseur, game developer, and best of all, he's friends with Shadow the Hedgehog. I bring to you Sephiroth Sword 57.
Konnichiwa, my swordlings and supporters. Some people think that $500,000 is too much to ask for. Developing a game costs a lot of money. Konnichiwa everyone, this is Sephiroth Sword 57. Absolutely sugoi. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you, Seth, for coming on the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing quite good today.
Yeah. I've been kind of watching your channel pretty regularly, and
Okay,
I've been meaning to ask you something. All right, and I want you to give me an honest answer if you can.
Yes, absolutely.
And I feel like, let's be honest, you're a bigger authority on Japanese culture than most Japanese people. Let's be honest.
I would say I'm on this around the same level. I would say I consider to be on the same level as the average Japanese. Maybe a little bit higher than the let's say the normal Japanese civilian. I would say I'm on a little bit deeper level since I research a lot of Japanese culture and history and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
Yes, I would say I'm a little bit more. I know a little bit more than the average person.
Well, then you'd be the perfect person to ask this. I was wondering, which weapon do you think is superior? This FN Browning, 1922, manufactured in Nazi-occupied Belgium. It fires a 32 ACP bullet, travels 984 feet per second. 158 foot-pounds of stopping power, or this katana.
Oh, I mean, the katana, obviously.
It's this was $17 at the flea market. Still, is it still better than the?
Well, I'm assuming that the katana is a replica and it's not actually used for real sword fighting.
Right.
But with enough training and enough discipline, you will absolutely be able to beat anyone, even with a, I don't have my boken near me, but I have a practice sword that I use for fending, in case I need to fend off intruders, like thieves and such,
or refugees.
Yeah. So yes, I would say the katana is definitely, with enough training, the better weapon.
Okay.
Than the Nazi gun.
I had a pretty heated argument with my friends, and they were honestly filthy Westerners. They were just convinced that a gun was in every way better than a sword, but I couldn't convince them.
That's ignorance, I would say. Just not knowledgeable enough, and that's one of my duties. I feel like, as an ambassador of Japan here in the West, I feel like it's important. I used to get into arguments a lot with Westerners who were wrong, but I knew that they didn't know better. So I had, it's better to explain to a Westerner why they're wrong, rather than getting angry at them. I've realized.
Yeah, honestly, it's. Is it hard living day in and day out, just pitying the people around you for not fully understanding the beauty of Japanese culture? You know,
it can absolutely.
There goes the sword. It fell.
It's probably fine.
It's fine. It's absolutely
it's a katana,
fine.
So it's probably fine.
I think it cut the foundation of my house, actually, when it fell. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Fine. We're all right. So Wait, do you have an anime body pillow?
That's a little. I think I'm gonna keep that a bit of a secret. That's a little bit of a private.
Is that a personal question? I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah,
if I had an anime body pillow, and I kind of, because I'm not as well versed on anime as you, I was hoping you would give your seal of approval for my woman of choice, my waifu that I would have on my body pillow.
Oh, okay.
This is one that I had growing up, and she was like it was like, because before this I was just watching Dexter's Lab and like Rocco's Modern Life, and then I saw a show called Cowboy Bebop, and there was this girl, Faye Valentine.
Okay, yes.
And I had never seen anything quite like that. And I still, like, you know, get a little bit hot in the loins when I think about Faye Valentine. I think if I had a waifu body pillow, I think that would be the one.
That's that's not bad.
That's not bad.
No, that's definitely an acceptable choice, I would say.
Have you ever seen a Faye Valentine cosplay that has been acceptable in your eyes? They can never pull it off. Remember. Yeah, they can't pull it off. Nobody has those proportions. Nobody.
It's probably you're probably right.
Yeah, I think it's because I've exclusively seen Westerners trying to do it, which really just sickens me more than anything.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's well, a lot of Westerners can't really pull off that that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah,
it's well, with a few exceptions, but most Westerners, yes, they seem to be more interested in dressing up as pretending to be other characters than themselves, rather than just doing it for the art.
Yeah.
So, Cowboy Bebop is a very split opinion on that show, because it was more popular in the West than it was in Japan.
It's because it has a very like Western like old Wild West tropes to it. It's almost like you're following a cowboy in space.
Yes,
you know.
Yes, exactly, and it's well made. And personally, I have watched it. I was not so big on it as other people was, but I can definitely appreciate it as a piece of Japanese animation.
Yeah.
He also made a show called Samurai Champloo. I don't know if you have seen that. That's a samurai show made by the same creator.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I've been I haven't gotten too much into cartoons in the past decade, probably. But
okay, well, that's an anime.
Yeah.
But it's also very popular in the West compared to Japan, even though it has it's more about Japanese history and samurai. So, which is kind of interesting.
Huh. I saw a clip on your Twitter, and it was you describing the differences between porn and hentai.
Yes, that's something I uploaded because I knew that a lot of people would find that interesting, and they probably haven't heard me talk about it before. So,
and you were leaning kind of hard into the character development side of things.
Yes.
Do you prefer like hentai over traditional pornography?
Absolutely. I don't watch traditional pornography, not even Japanese ones, because they lean very into the sexual interactions rather than trying to build up characters with backstory and personality. Because the end result will, of course, get to the sexual act, but before then, that moment will be way more rewarding if it builds up through the story with the character development and such.
Well, the one you were talking about on Twitter was it was this hentai called Bible Black.
Yes.
And I kind of looked into it, and it looks like the character development, everything happens, and then the end result, what it builds up to is rape. Which isn't in conventional porn a whole lot.
No, that's something that can't be replicated in that way, which is also a thing about hentai, is that they can explore different types of storytelling and
fantasies.
Well, I guess yes, fantasies that you couldn't really do in traditional live action pornography. So I found it very interesting because it's for people with those these fantasies. They can find a lot of things, find out a lot of things, and enjoy a lot of things that they normally couldn't.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good thing, and I think most of all I personally enjoy the build up and the character development throughout in hentais and such.
Do you enjoy the rape part? That's the part that doesn't. So actually, specifically in Bible Black, hermaphrodite rape, which I think is some sort of hate crime in and of itself.
I can't say I remember. That's a little. I think I'm gonna skip that question. But,
You're gonna skip that one.
But it's interesting because Baiburu Braku was originally an animation, which is not very common in the hentai genre. Usually hentai are based off of doujinshis, if you know what that is.
No, I don't. I'm sorry. What's a doujinshi? Doujinshi?
The doujin is the abbreviated version, easier to say.
Doujin? Okay.
Yes. It's here in the West they're mostly known as hentai in manga form.
Gotcha.
I would say. Yes.
Okay.
So it's and those are usually they're usually made by smaller artists. Some would call them more of an indie, like smaller. They work from home, and they get famous through doing these doujins. And sometimes bigger studios pick them up for animation. So it usually starts out with a doujin or a manga of some kind. But for something like Baibaru Braku, it was animation from the beginning. So
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's some history there.
I also saw you had a Kickstarter.
Yes. Unfortunately, it didn't reach the goal.
Yeah, I saw it was for a game called Last Dream Central 7, Cloud of Emergency.
Yes, that was the project, yes.
And you also got a cease and desist from this project, didn't you?
I did do that. I did, which was very... even though all this happened, it was still very flattering to get that from such a big company. And
did you end up having to pay the damages? It was like $120,000 or something like that in damages.
No, I didn't. Well, it was because they're mostly used as a warning, these cease and desist, and they don't really go through with it. So, but no, since the project didn't reach the goal, I didn't have nothing happened out of it. So,
I saw the not to rub this in your face or anything, but I did see that it only made $2,083 out of the $543,000 that you were asking for.
Yes,
and
yes.
I don't mean to say that, you know, you didn't get even fucking close to your goal. What I mean to say is you have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yes.
And you managed to hoodwink them out of $2,000. That's a pretty good ratio, I like to think. I have a million subs. If I could get just one fucking dollar from each of these people, I would be a millionaire. That would be fantastic. You got like $100 from each one. That was...
Yes.
That was great.
Those swordlings that were helping out and pledged to the project, I really appreciate it. One of my swordlings was pledged $1,000.
Wow!
To see the project go.
I saw that in the comments. He said he maxed out an Amex credit card in order to do that.
Yes. I don't really read a lot of the comments anymore on my videos unless they're. I don't really pay attention because sometimes there's a lot of negativity. So I usually see them through when people, when they pledge or when they send a message or something like that, or on or if people talk to me on the Discord server, which are usually fans or swordlings.
Yeah, swordlings. That's the name for your subscribers, right?
Yes, those. That's the name of my fans.
Nice. I see you got what are those little statues behind you on your...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have a couple of statues here of some of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have all of them up there, but let me talk about them really quick.
Okay. Go for it.
I'm gonna save this one for last. Okay. So this is Arucado from. Let's see if we can get her.
Castlevania.
Yes, Akomajo Dracula Exo, Gekka no Gastrokyoku. It's one of my favorite games for the PlayStation. That's right, Symphony of the Night, as it's called in the West.
Yeah.
And it's a great game. And this statue I actually got from a friend. Must have been 15 years ago.
Wow, so that's an old one. Hell yeah.
Yes. So it's very precious. This one I got after I got back into Jojo no Kimi no Boken, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And this is Yosuke Higashikata, one of my favorite characters from JoJo.
I've heard a lot about JoJo, never seen it. Is it worth watching? Is it good stuff?
It is very good. It's an old manga. It's a manga from the 80s, so it has a very nostalgic, old school style to it and story writing, which I think a lot of people find enjoyable. It has very 80s, 90s writing in it, and it has interesting characters. Explores a lot of interesting ideas. I would say it's very bizarre. As you can tell from the title.
Is there any hermaphrodite rape in that?
No, not what I can tell. I can show you my last one, which is this one.
Yeah.
This is Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh shit.
Which my name is based off.
Yeah.
Sephiroth Sword 57. So, of course, it's a very important one as well.
Oh,
and this I also paid. I think I got it around the same time as this Alucard one, but this one was I paid. I had to pay myself an order from Japan.
Oh man!
So it was. Yes,
do you have a katana?
I don't have it right. I think it's in. Since I only use my boken, my training sword, I don't really have the katana around because it's very dangerous if I'm gonna start using it against if there ever is a criminal. So if any criminals show up, it would be pretty bad because I have a lot of strength and a lot of power and holding back against some of those, it would be hard to hold back.
Yeah. Naturally,
so a boken is enough. That's enough to knock them out and then call the police if needed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you want to see my figurine that I have?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Let me see.
This is I just got this in, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'll actually open it. I'll take it out of its hermetically sealed box. But this is a YouTuber and a person I've looked up to for a very long time. And have you ever heard of U2s? You ever heard of those?
No, I have not.
They're incredibly stupid little vinyl figurines. I hate them. I can't stand them. And this guy went the other route, and he got an actual action figure. This is Frankie McDonald. He supplies the United States in its entirety with weather updates. If there is a storm in the U.S., he will let you know where it is, when it is, and what you need to do to prepare yourself. I live in Florida, which is rife with hurricanes. And I stay tuned in to Frankie McDonald. And he let me know that Hurricane Irma was coming to decimate my town a couple years ago. And he told me to get my family, get some SpaghettiOs, get some canned soups, and hide in the basement or hide in the bathroom. And I did. And so this guy right here, responsible for saving my life.
It makes sense why you look up to him then. Because that makes sense.
He's a good guy. Not nearly as fierce looking as the Alucard though, for sure.
No, that's true. That's interesting.
Yeah. But I think like how your figurines are looking down on you, kind of protecting you day in and day out. I like to think Frankie is protecting me by sitting up on my shelf, looking down on me.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw you. You played. I saw you did a Bloodborne review, and I gotta say, that entire episode is a fucking fever dream if I've ever seen it. That thing was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in the beginning you go from reviewing Bloodborne with who's that? Is it your brother or something? A friend?
Joachim. He's my childhood friend.
Okay. Your friend came over and you were both playing it, and then it quickly turns to you killing Mario in a parking lot.
Nintendo.
Oh yeah, Nintendo. I guess he was more of a figurehead of Nintendo. Yes. Yeah. And then,
in the Sephiroth Sword 57 show, Nintendo's represented by the form of Super Mario. Yes.
Gotcha. And from his body, you collect Dragon Balls.
Yes.
Which are then used to grant a final wish.
Yes.
And what cracks me up is the choices of your wish are you get to choose between immortality, infinite wealth, or being Japanese. That's your final. Those are your three choices.
Yeah.
And but you decided to stray from the path, and you chose to resurrect Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yes.
That was your. Why the fuck would those be your options though? Like wealth, immortality, or a race swap.
Well, Shenron can. Those were just some examples.
Oh, okay.
Because Shenron can do pretty much anything as long as it's within his power to do so. If it's anyone more powerful than him, he can't achieve the
wish.
Yes, the wish. Yes.
Yeah.
But it was just some examples.
Okay.
But yes, in the show, Sephiroth Sword 57 decides to resurrect his best friend, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Gotcha. Okay, so hypothetical here, completely hypothetical world. Let's assume Shadow the Hedgehog never died. What would your next wish be?
I've had people. Okay, so Here's the thing about, and you might not have seen that video, but the thing about those Dragon Balls is that they are cursed. So whatever wish I would have some negative effects to it.
Okay.
So the reason why the shadow that got resurrected became evil, and later in the Sephiroth Sword 57 show, he betrayed Sephiroth Sword 57 me in the show. So if I, for example, wanted wealth, I probably would get a lot of money, but I would also be I would probably have some kind of bad luck. I would lose all the money. I would become in debt or something like that.
Or you'd have the Midas touch. You know what that is?
No, I don't know.
That's in the East, they have old, I guess, like legends. And in the West, believe it or not, we do too. And one is it's an old Greek story, a myth of King Midas. And he is so greedy that he gets to the point where he's granted by the gods the ability to touch anything he touches turns to gold, and then he ends up touching his daughter's tit or something like that, and she turns to gold, and it kills her. And so it's that
sounds that sounds like something I've heard of before.
Yeah, it's like it's like a curse, but also a blessing.
Yes. Yeah. So it's in that way. So. Okay, so if I wanted to choose money, I would probably there would be some kind of curse to it. But let's say if I choose to become Japanese, I would probably
be a hermaphrodite, in Bible Black.
I think I would turn into some kind of rude Westerner, the absolute opposite of a Japanese, respectable Japanese man. He would probably. Yes, I would probably be some kind of rude Westerner.
Gotcha.
Instead, so it's hard for that. That question is kind of hard.
Yeah.
No matter what I go with, it would be bad for me, since those were cursed, those Dragon Balls. But if they were not, I probably would have gone with wealth, because I've had some financial issues. Let's say if we're talking about real life and not the show. That would probably be what I would go with. Yes.
Yeah.
At that point.
You hear a lot of people, they say like money doesn't buy happiness.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't.
It absolutely does. There's absolutely no way that, I mean, I'm pretty happy when, I have like my house paid for, or, there's like definitely some crushing emotional toll that having, being in a lot of debt kind of deals down on you, and I think money would probably help out a lot. It doesn't hurt. I'm not going to get sad from being rich.
No, it absolutely. It certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
it's the yes.
Okay, so you'd probably choose wealth out of all that.
Yeah, yes, I would.
Awesome. How do you have your headphones? Are they are they on the back side of the brim?
What do you have there?
It's I was gonna try to fit in here. I also have a fedora with a
with the Konoha symbol as well. Wow,
yeah. Is that a good look?
Oh wow, that's a good looking one. Okay, absolutely
awesome. It was $11 on Amazon.
Oh wow,
yeah.
When did you get that?
I got it probably 2 years ago. I was trying to up my fashion game, and then I felt like I couldn't pull it off. But you know what?
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think it feels right. It feels right.
Looks good.
Yeah, thank you. So I got a question. Have you ever seen, like, it's considered racist for a woman to fetishize? Or not even a woman. Just it's considered racist for white people to fetishize black people in a sexual way, like a white girl that wants to get absolutely pounded and demolished by a black man. It's considered racist.
Okay.
Wouldn't you feel like it's technically the same thing when you fetishize Japanese culture?
Well, I guess there's a difference. I'm not really into that kind of what do you say, that those kind of discussions and topics. Usually, I used to focus on the more interesting aspects of culture, and especially Japanese culture. I think it's overall. I think Japanese culture is. I guess there's a difference between appreciating Japanese culture and fetishizing it.
Yeah.
And because if you just see it as something that's supposed to make you feel good, then I feel like it's not the right way of thinking. Because Japanese culture could really help out. Mostly their society and how they treat each other. We could really gain a lot from that. How, for example, I think Japanese culture is superior when it comes to how they show each other respect. If you're sick in Japan, if you have a cold, it's common sense to wear a face mask, like a lot of Westerners are doing now during these times. But that doesn't even bother them. It's not even a thought. They just put it on because they know that they don't want to spread the cold to someone else. That is something we could take note of, and I think that's something that could just be better. That we could do better, but we refuse to do it. A lot of Westerners, and I think also the way how they don't really shake hands a lot in Japan, and it's mostly not to spread. That's also a very good idea of not spreading germs and just sickness and all kinds of bacteria and stuff. And,
I heard in Japan they actually have separate like subway and train cars for women because they don't want to get molested.
Yeah, it's definitely a good, since there are a lot of there's always bad people wherever you go, and I think that they see that as they want people to be comfortable, and there are of course like they take precaution for stuff like that because they don't want people to be to be uncomfortable.
I just had an idea. Me and you, we should co-write a hentai, a manga. We'll co-write a manga about a young Japanese hermaphrodite that wanders into the wrong subway car.
Okay.
And she finds herself surrounded by men.
I mean, it could be interesting. It could be interesting story-wise.
A lot of plot development, character development possible in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Within the confines of that train car.
Yes, it's a hard thing to capture, that Japanese style of writing, though. I think it's something that would be hard. Usually I reach out to artists that I appreciate if I have an idea, because they usually have a better idea of how to write the story or the characters.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times I reach out to them through email as or messages or something like that, so that I can show them my ideas that I have, scenarios and concepts that would make for an interesting story. And I'm sure some of them are really appreciated, those little messages and stuff. But I always do it because I know that they're capable of doing something interesting.
Gotcha. Do you know of what's that guy's name? Hold on, he's a guy that draws like a lot of hentai stuff. Hold on, let me find him.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. No, he's a Westerner. I think he's actually Swedish. Hold on.
Okay.
What is his name? I'll find it here in a second. What do you do for a living? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh no problem. I like to think that right now I drive a forklift at a local warehouse.
Yeah.
that's a part-time job. I don't get paid a lot, but it pays the bills, and I do feel like Ryo Hazuki from Shenmue when I do it. So it is quite rewarding. I've been doing it for many years now. I did quit. Cool. I did quit it for a while when I started YouTube, because at the time I thought YouTube would be paying a bit more.
We all did.
Yes, I think, and at the time I think a lot of that was 5 years ago, I think, and at the time that was when you got like a 20 to 30,000 views, you would get some money for that. But no, it seems like that was right at the point where it started going downhill really fast.
I remember when I was first starting out in like 2010, there was people that had 1 million subs. You would see driving around in like Lamborghinis and having like nice houses up in Hollywood Hills. And now 10 years later, I've reached 1 million subs, and I'm driving around in a Honda Civic.
Well, I guess it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's all kind of gone downhill.
Yes, YouTube used to be the big one.
Yeah, the big
people
bucks
were aiming for.
Yeah, but now I think all the money's probably in erotic manga. I think that's where the money is. We really need to get into business together. There is a lot of money to be made there, definitely. Now, we could save a lot of money on hiring artists if we just do it with stick figures. Do you think we can draw it ourselves?
I mean, sure. I don't know how popular that would be, but if the writing is good enough, then I think people would appreciate it. Although a more Japanese style would probably be more popular.
Yeah,
among people, I think.
Hold on, let me convince you. Hold on, let me go. Let me get something real quick. Okay, so this is what I was thinking about here. Traditionally, they put a lot of effort into. Well, first of all, they put a lot of effort into the drawing, right?
Yes.
But I've always felt like the mind is the biggest erogenous zone. And so the faster we can get these things out in terms of volumes, we can push the story further along. And so I think the real hindrance here in terms of wasting time is those pesky artists. And so if we simply draw it ourselves with a style that's less Japanese, but more something like hold on a second.
That's it.
Like this here. Like that.
I mean,
and then for the women, you do circles.
I mean, yes. It would, yeah. I guess it's you have a point.
I could do this all day. We could have 48 pages by the end of the workday. It's 2 o'clock.
It's true. Do you know about do you know about the artist for?
Look, it's
for
you
one
as a hermaphrodite.
Anyway, do you know the artist for One Punch Man?
Yes.
He is known for not being he's not really an artist. He was more of a writer. So if you've seen the original webcomic of One Punch Man, or web manga, you can see the art style isn't very good, but he got a lot of people, he got a lot of fans and a lot of readers because the story was good. So you definitely have a point in that. I don't think I've ever seen a doujin or hentai manga that has tried that before. So that's definitely an interesting concept.
Yeah, I think we should go for it. And if it doesn't work, we could hire. I found the guy I was talking about earlier. His name is Shadman. Have you ever heard of Shadman?
Oh, I know who that is. Yes, yes, I've seen that. A lot of people that I've a lot of Japanese people I know of don't really like him that much.
Why not?
He's apparently very rude and
he's Swedish. You know that, right? Like this is your. Is
he Swedish?
This is your kinfolk you're talking about. You're Swedish too.
Is he actually Swedish?
He's Swedish. True? Yeah, I think he's Swedish. Yeah.
You
know, I keep buying artwork from his store, and then I get it into the house and I hang it up on the wall, and then my wife throws it away.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's. I'm not gonna talk about like his. Well, his techniques and how skillful he is as an artist.
Yeah.
Because it's just that I have seen his art. I'm not a fan of the way he draws things myself.
I think he's a great artist. I'm willing to say on record, nobody draws a hermaphrodite as good as this guy. Shadman is the best it gets.
Okay. Well, I have seen art from him, and I would say he's. I wouldn't say he's a bad artist. I can say that. It's just the style I personally can't really get behind. I would say
not it's the subject matter.
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't really care too much about that. It's mostly the way it's drawn that's unappealing to me. It has this thing where it's Western, but it tries to look Japanese.
Yeah,
and I think it clashes a bit. And yes, I don't really. That's a very typical thing for Western artists when they do that very often, where a style kind of don't really work for me personally, and I know a lot of people agrees. But there are artists that have a more of a Western style that still appreciates Japanese art and make it work together. For example, an artist I know who's called Seth, not Seth to be confused with me, Seth Sama, but Seth, and he did a drawing of me, fan art, and he has a very interesting style you can tell it's Western, but it has a very nice Japanese flavor to it that makes it looks nice. He's a good artist that respects Japanese culture.
Oh, that's good. Biggest bang for your buck. Who do you think draws the best hermaphrodites in the business?
I don't really know.
Because I've been looking to up my game from Shadman. He just doesn't do it for me anymore. I need the next level of hermaphrodite drawings.
You're thinking of you're thinking about the Japanese term for that, I guess, would be futa.
Yeah, futa.
Futanari. It's a short for futanari. Which yes, it's usually that style. There's some history behind that that type of genre. If you're interested,
go for it. I gotta know the ins and outs.
Yes, so it started off that a lot of male artists had a hard time drawing. Well, they had a hard time drawing sex between females. So mostly because there were a lot of young artists, and they were probably not very experienced. So themselves, with females in general. So they decided to draw, women with male parts. So it will be easier for them to
as
draw
well
the
as
sex
female
scenes.
parts.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Both.
You know what the most astounding part is?
Hmm?
Is that hermaphrodites have since become a thing in real life. So more proof that life imitates art when you think about it.
Yes, that is a thing. Yes, that's a thing that exists.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know when Futanari started out, but that is the backstory of it, at least. It started off as people not knowing how to draw female-on-female sex.
Do you want to, maybe after this podcast, we could stay in this call and maybe we could look up how women actually have sex together?
Well, I kind of already have experience with that, but I mean, I could definitely go through a little bit of a like a crash course if you're interested.
Do they mush them together?
No, I can. I guess I can go through it later. If you really want to know, I can.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like it if you gave me a detailed, incredibly detailed response on that.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Yes,
because I know the ins and outs of how guys have sex with each other. That I've studied that immensely, but the women having sex is totally foreign to me.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Yes, that sounds interesting.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on my show, man. I appreciate it. I'm hankering to end this thing so we can go discover how women have sex with each other. Do you have your what's your YouTube thing?
It's called Sephiroth Sword 57 is the YouTube channel. And I'm also on Twitter for Sephiroth Sword _ because 57 it's too long of a name, so it doesn't fit on Twitter. Yes.
As a final goodbye, do you want to both tip our fedoras?
Oh, well, sure. Absolutely.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. That was good. All right, guys. Later.
Do you have a girlfriend? Not at the moment, but my YouTube fame might open up a lot of possibilities.